You know, my 35 plus years of being a physician, I've really learned about these nature's simple cures. I mean, the things that really heal you and cure you. You know, when possible, we all should be on an organic diet, you know, with no insecticides or pesticides and no hormones in the diet. But more than that, we need healthy water and healthy air. You know, the air has to be good air. That's why I'm a big proponent of air filters with UV light and HEPA air filtration. And I believe that air is one of the most vital things that we bring into our body, because when we bring in faulty air or you know, contaminated air, then it sets the stage for illness in the body. Water. We need water that's alive. We need water with minerals in it and water that has energy to it. And really a pH in water that's over 7.5. So a lot of us drink water out of these plastic bottles. I prefer glass because a lot of the phthalates are transferred into the water. So if you can drink sort of a water that has a pH greater than 7.5, that has a lot of minerals in it, or you can infuse the minerals in the water. Like in my home, I have reverse osmosis, and I take minerals at the same time. I'll take plant-based minerals into that reverse osmosis water that takes out all the insecticides, all the pesticides, and all the chlorine. So healthy water, healthy air, and healthy food are a great place to start. Another nature's cure is sunlight, natural sunlight. You know, a lot of us are phobic about, you know, skin cancer or putting on these sunblocks and these sunscreens. Well, guess what? When you do that, you block the absorption of vitamin D. When you wear a hat, sunglasses, and you go out with all covered up, you can't absorb vitamin D. Remember, vitamin D comes from sunlight. It activates cholesterol in the skin, and you form what we call vitamin D3. It's absolutely essential for the immune system. It helps with metabolic syndrome and high blood pressure and multiple sclerosis and arthritis and heart failure and cancer. I mean, doctors right now are real privy about higher blood levels of vitamin D. We used to think blood levels of 30 to 35 were great. Well, now we're thinking 75 and above. And I spoke to one naturopath only a couple of weeks ago. In her cancer patients, she's getting her vitamin D levels greater than 120. So natural sunlight is a natural cure. You must get out in the sun. Don't worry about 15 or 20 minutes a day. You're not going to get skin cancer from that. And remember, after 15 or 20 minutes, your CoQ10 is going to be used up in the skin anyway. So just use that time. If you go out for 2 or 3 hours, then you want to protect yourself. You don't want to get a sunburn in the middle of the day, but 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight is good medicine. But if you can't get out into the sunlight and it's winter time, you can also take vitamin D3. You can do that, or eat foods with vitamin D in it, like salmon or vitamin D fortified organic milk. You must get vitamin D. If you can't get it from the sun, take vitamin D as a supplement. Right now, I'm recommending at least 2,000 to 5,000 units per day for healthy people. And if you're sick, I'm recommending up to 10,000 units a day. So if you can't get out into the sunlight, take vitamin D as a supplement, or at least eat foods that have natural vitamin D in it. Now, grounding is really important, because grounding is a way that we can discharge this toxic EMF or these toxic microwave technologies that are part of our daily life. And a nature's cure is literally going barefoot in the park. When you ground, and if like right now my shoes are on, but later I'll go out and I'll touch the ground. I walk my dogs, for example, barefoot. And when you walk barefoot on the earth, whether you're walking on grass or sand or concrete, you know, any of those substances, not asphalt, not man-made, but any of those substances, like even natural concrete and natural rocks, are okay. When you ground yourself, you're taking in the natural electrical energy of the earth. You're also soaking up millions and millions of free electrons. It's like taking a handful of antioxidants. When you ground to the earth, you have the electrical energy of the earth plus the electrons. You're neutralizing free radicals in your body. You are turning your nervous system back to its primitive state of more what we call vagal tone, parasympathetic dominance. Today, we're all vigilant because of all the events happening in the world. We have sympathetic heightened arousal. Now we're balancing the nervous system with grounding. We're also improving heart rate variability. We're improving cortisol relationships, sleep patterns, inflammation. So grounding just makes sense. Now, the honeybee is absolutely essential. I mean, if you look at honeybees, or bees in general, they go from flower to flower, and they're sucking up that nectar. But what are they taking in? They're taking in sunlight. They're taking in the energy from the flower. And that energy of the flower literally goes through the bee's body, and the bee makes bee pollen, or in some cases, bee propolis. And bee propolis is a substance that the bees make a beehive out of. In other words, there's slats to a beehive, there's wood. Between the wood is this propolis that is this substance that passes through the bee's body. Now, the Greek term for that, propolis, means city. So the bees build their own city through bee propolis. It's this natural substance that goes through their body. And what does it do? It supports the immune system. It lowers blood pressure. It has a big impact on cancer. In fact, there's one Japanese researcher that's been studying this for 2 decades in Japan. And according to his research, he uses bee propolis in every one of his patients with cancer. So I'm a big proponent of the honeybee. Unfortunately, because of all the microwave technologies, the honeybees cannot find their homes. The microwave technologies are interfering with their navigation systems. And there's a big problem on the earth right now. There are millions of colonies of honeybees that are leaving and they're dying. You know, Einstein, maybe 60 or 70 years ago, said that the honeybee is essential for civilization. So we have to protect the honeybee from the wireless technologies. Now, sort of overstretching the honeybee is really looking at the Bach flower remedies. You know, Dr. Bach, back decades ago, in the 1920s and 30s, he would take the petals from flowers and crush them up and then add a solution to it and place these in a vial. So basically, he took the energy of the sunlight, which is contained in the energy of the flower petals, and pulverized the flower petals and make a solution. Then you would take an eyedropper and put the solution under your tongue. As the sunlight takes in the energy of the sun, different colors of these flowers would create different wavelengths and different energies. For example, if you took white chestnut, this would help with fear and anxiety. When my son was very sick and he was in and out of the hospital, I was terrified. And I was literally taking white chestnut and rescue remedy. I was literally taking rescue remedy every hour because I was really afraid that I'd have a heart attack myself because my nervous system was on such afterload. And I was just terrified that any minute he could leave. So the remedies in these flowers, these different flower remedies, there's actually like 70 or 80 of them. There's rose petals and chestnut and different varieties of flowers. Different energies can help the body with different medicinal problems and symptoms. For example, years ago, instead of running to pharmaceutical agents when I had patients with panic attack or patients with anxiety, I treated them with the Bach flower remedies. And my patients come back to me and say, I can't believe it worked. I would take this little vial into my tongue and my panic would go away, or my anxiety would go away, my fear would go away. So I'm a big believer in the Bach flower remedies. And he used all sorts of flowers. I mean, you can go to a bookstore or a library, a health food store, and read a book on Bach flower remedies and see what flowers will pertain to you. Now, another nature's cure that comes from the sun and literally comes from the water is seaweed. Seaweeds are marvelous. Remember, seaweeds contain alginates, and in this radiation age, alginates will take radiation out of our body. It's the only way you can take radiation out of the body is by eating alginates. And alginates are found in seaweeds. We're all full of radiation, whether it's from computers or wireless or TVs, or microwave ovens. And remember, the x-rays you got as a young child from your dentist, or the chest x-ray you got, or the radiation you got from a microwave, it stays in your body forever. It's accumulative. It just builds up. And one of the ways of getting rid of it is by taking alginates from seaweed. Now, my favorite seaweed is a red kelp seaweed. It grows off the coast of Korea and Japan. It grows about 200 feet below the center of the ocean. And it's like a jack in the beanstalk. It sways in the ocean back and forth, so it takes in the energy of the ocean water, which incidentally is another nature cure because of all the minerals. Remember, seaweed contains all 56 minerals. It's just like your bloodstream. And it has marvelous medicinal properties. It has iodine, which is good for the thyroid gland. It has chemical properties in it that are potent, what we call NF-kappa B inhibitors. They have anti-diabetic properties. They help to treat blood pressure. It's one of the best things you can put into your body, and I take it every day.